Hello viewers, I'm Dr. Angie, a trained psychiatrist, and I have made a reaction video on part 1 of Janko and Tate episode, and the second part is just so thought-provoking and some really good points were made from both sides. So I couldn't help but make this reaction video as well. I wish I could do reaction on the entire video, but the video is like around 2 hours long. So I have picked certain clips from the video in which I can share my psychiatric expertise and share some knowledge that you may be able to apply in your life. So without further ado, let's get started. My first clip is actually end of the interview, and I will explain why I'm doing that. In the end of the video, I want to share what Andrew Tate taught me and what Janko taught me. Also, I have a wish for both Andrew Tate and Janko that I'm going to share in the end. Let's get started.
I know that after you're done with the podcast, you kind of go on and do what you need to do. But I would love to stay in contact because I feel like we could sharpen each other.
I think so too. I think it'd be very interesting, certainly.
I think, to be honest, I would love to extend the conversation, but sometimes when I feel like it's ready to go, it's ready to go.
We have part 2 already lined up, so it'll happen some point in the future.
Thank you so much for being here, man.
Anytime,
I really,
bro.
and truly, because like this is putting my show on a different map, and I think you know that too.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate your time.
Both of these men do share some values, but they are very different with different mindsets, different personalities, even different religion. However, what George has done, he has used a communication style that is very effective when you are talking to someone that don't share your values or your perspective. You can debate with someone and flat out tell them that they are wrong and then state your opinion. If you do that, the other person will become defensive and will not listen to a thing you are saying. However, what George has done, he has found common grounds and then built on those grounds, and he has mentioned how those things he appreciate or how it has helped him, and then stated his opinion. If you do that, the other person, their heart will open and they are more receptive to what you are saying. Not only receptive to what you are saying, they may even reflect on it afterwards. If you are in a debate or if you differ in opinion, you can do it respectfully using this communication method. So it was beautiful to see how he applied this communication at multiple times during the interview, and I'm going to share some clips where you can exactly see what I'm talking about.
How do you feel about other influencers that walk in the footsteps of you, but I feel like miss, or maybe they don't miss? I kind of want to like ask you, how do you feel about like the Aiden Rosses, the Sneeko, Zerka, all of these people that kind of walk in the realm of where you want? Like Neon is one now. Like, how do you feel about these gentlemen?
I think they're all different people. I don't pay attention to any of them. I know something about, I don't want to insult anybody. I don't want to talk about anybody.
So his reaction was very mature, and anyone at his level should give this response, because when you are at a certain level of success and achievement, there will be people who will copy you, who will follow your footsteps, but a person at the higher level usually doesn't hate on them or doesn't wish bad on them, or it doesn't matter, like they are too big for that. So it is too big for those things. So very mature response. You'll always see people beneath you hating on you.
The excellence. And when I see all these other influencers, and I don't want to say names, and I'm not throwing shade, and I'm not trying to start internet beef, because that's what they're going to try and do, to try and get clicks off my name, because they're not relevant without me, and I don't give a fuck about any of them.
Just don't name them.
Yeah. All these people, what they're doing is, the way they're acting doesn't inspire anybody to be brilliant. Going in the street and yelling like an idiot, running around with half-naked girls and being entertaining and doing all this garbage they're doing. Nobody looks at that and goes, I want to be a better man. At all. They look at it and they might laugh.
Yeah.
They might think it's funny. It might get views.
Entertaining, no substance.
Yeah, it's no substance. And that's why I think my brand is quite unique, because it's very substance-driven. And the reason my brand is so substance-driven is because I've had such a difficult life. I wouldn't be able to tell and teach the things I can unless God's put me through so much shit.
These are facts. So he preaches what he practices. And he has a period of suffering. He has a difficult life, and that's why he is who he is. That's why he becomes so inspiring. Anyone who has a very easy life, very comfortable life, and start teaching other people things, it's not going to have the same meaning as when he is saying it, because he has lived through it.
Most of these children today are so messed up from TikTok, they can't even focus on one page of a book, any book, because all they do is scroll.
It is so true. Like social media, they are designed to be extremely addictive, and it's unfortunate how most of us, including children, are addicted to them. And I'm going to, towards the later part of my video, I'm going to share how to figure out, like, if you are questioning whether you are addicted to something, how to answer if you have a problem or not. Now, Andrew Tate made some really good points.
Is it free, so free, that it's giving the will to anybody to do what they want, and this is what the mass wants to do with it?
First things first, no country on earth is free. Not one. Next, which country has the most people in prison currently?
America.
Which country has the highest percentage of its population in prison in history?
America.
Which country has the most laws?
I don't know that one.
America. So when you talk about the land of the free, what they're actually saying is, we've built a society based on freedom. Of course there is no freedom, because true freedom is anarchy. So I'm not even advocating for it.
But that's
right?
what I'm saying. Do you think it turned that way because of that?
No. But here's the psyop.
Yeah.
Every single country has its own version of their restrictions and rules. When I go to the UAE, I feel very free because I can say anything I want. So at least in other nations, you know the rules. You wouldn't go to Moscow walking around with a fuck Putin t-shirt.
No. No, what?
See, you know the rules.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest illusion that's going on. So when you're talking about we have so much freedom, absolutely and utterly not, sir. I'll disagree with you on that point. There's no freedom at all. In fact, there's less freedom there is in other places, and you don't even know what you're free to do anymore.
Now they both will talk about how having no mentor while growing up can affect children, both men and women.
And no disrespect to them. And the reason why I have no disrespect to them is because I believe that I was blessed with a home that teaches me about making decisions for my future.
Yeah.
And I can't point my finger at a female or a man who's making decisions that they didn't have loved ones to tell them, like, hey, don't just plan for right now. We got to plan for your future.
Yep.
Yeah, there are so many kids, it's just so sad. They don't have good role models. They don't have mentors while growing up. And it's very difficult for them to differentiate what's right and what's wrong. And then there's social pressure out there. They get influenced by people having money, big cars, and then start making wrong decisions.
Everything starts in the home.
Yep.
And if you notice, 90 or so crazy percent of people that are in prison, they don't have a father.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of situations that stem from not having a good example in your life.
Agreed.
So let's circle back to the home, right? We can't control the government. We can't control the matrix. We can't control the schools.
Yeah.
But we can control what goes inside and outside of this home.
Yep.
And that's a very powerful, powerful, powerful thing that people are not circling around.
But only if the man is the man of the house.
Yes.
Only if he is not feminized. Only if the matrix has not empowered the woman to the point where she thinks she's too good to listen to the man she's supposed to be.
Here, and Andrew Tate will explain more in little later, and where I disagree with him, a woman can think she's too good, but still, most women, no matter how smart, how successful, how independent they are, they love to be led by a man. And he doesn't get it. All they want is to be treated with respect at the same time. So he's going to share something that got him in lot of trouble, and that's the right type of trouble, because what he said was extremely wrong and disrespectful.
I said the world would be a much better place if women had to walk around with their body counts on their foreheads.
Oh, I remember. You got smoked for that.
Everyone lost their mind.
Okay, so that is a purely misogynistic statement. Majority of women will agree, like having a high body count definitely is not in a woman's best interest. We all agree on that. But making a statement like that, it's just like objectifying women, and it doesn't suit a big influencer like him. Andrew Tate definitely has polished himself, polished his demeanor compared to his earlier videos, but I do want him to like ease ease his tone when he's talking about women. He can convey the same message in a more respectful way, and that will be more receptive to, especially to women, and that will also teach men to respect women. Big influencer like him, who so many guys and so many young boys are looking up to, making statements like that is very dangerous. And actually George will say the same thing I'm saying, and I'm so glad like another man is seeing my point of view.
Because I say something abrasively to shock people, and the intelligent ones will look at what I say and extrapolate the lessons from it, like we talk about the Bible.
So he's saying that shock people. I don't know if he's doing for the clout, but he doesn't need that now. In the beginning, okay, for fame he did it to get success and fame, but now he already has a huge following. He doesn't need to do that.
You read the parable, but you have to sit down and analyze what it actually means.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is female promiscuity. If women had to be far more careful and more selective with who they slept with.
Completely agree with that.
This would inspire masculine excellence now. You can't be a loser with a little bit of weed and get a chick over the house. You have to be a better version of a man. You have to be the kind of man who can provide for her if she gets pregnant, for her to even consider sleeping with you, because that number is going to go up and she's going to be judged for it. And women don't like being judged. Women are very, very susceptible to societal pressure and peer pressure and judging.
Same with men.
Same with men.
I agree with George here because no one likes to be judged. It doesn't imply only to women.
Because men are not going to want to be with a girl who has 468 numbers.
I want to interject here that a woman doesn't want to be with a guy with 468 number either. Trust me, that's not the type of guy women want.
100%. So now men are like, I want a low number. She doesn't want to add to her number. I better be better. I better be better. Now when someone gets together, they're going to stay together.
No, I definitely do agree with this, that women should have more respect for them, and they should be very, very selective with who they give themselves to. It's different for women than intimacy, or just sleeping around is completely different for women than men. It's definitely not in a woman's best interest.
They're going to stay together. They're going to stay together as a family. They're going to be more prepared to sit, talk through things, work things out. No longer divorce anymore.
The church holds this. Islam holds this.
Absolutely.
Because in Islam and in Christianity, when you go to church or you go to the temple, right? What are the main thing that they fear is God, but they also fear how other people are looking at them.
100%.
So now you see like how he find common grounds and build on it. So that's what I was talking about earlier.
Do you know why I'm doing this, by the way? Because I want to vouch for you. And I want to vouch for Trump. And I want to vouch for people that I do believe in, but it's really fucking hard when you're going around saying, these bitches need to have fucking numbers on their head. And I'm like, motherfucker, Tate, stop saying that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to vouch for you. So if I have to come out here and literally come out here, fly out here, 16 hours, I want to sit here and say, dude, I am with you.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to be with you, waiving my morals and my integrity. I'm trying to bring in even the people that we think are stupid, they're still worth saving.
A lot of Tate fans get upset with me when I say these things, but now a man is saying it, so I'm pretty sure they are more receptive to it. That's exactly what I say, what George is saying here, because I see potential in Tate, but I just don't understand why he does it. It's not working out for him at this point. He need to change his strategy or change it a little. He can still be hilarious, he can still be funny, but he doesn't have to talk about women in a dismissive way.
Oh, completely understand, and I'm also very prepared and aware that I can say things in a far nicer way. I agree with you. It's not accidental. I am aware of it.
You already achieved what you needed to achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah, he already has such a huge following. He doesn't have to say these outrageous statements that will not help someone. Like him saying that, how is it helping anyone? It's not helping anyone.
It's something I said a long time ago, but I was just explaining the point behind it.
But it's a strong message, so how do we get that message out without pissing them off?
Oh, that's easy. I mean, I think when you tell a woman, but you know what's interesting? It's really interesting, and I want to make this point. There is a very vocal minority, especially on the internet, of feminists and left-wing psychos. I'm telling you, if I say to a woman, being promiscuous is disgusting, 95% of women go, yes. It's only these 5% of idiots you see going, I can do whatever I want.
I completely agree that being promiscuous does not help women. It definitely damages women, and it's not in a girl's best interest, not at all.
I'll sleep with 100 guys if...
I actually think society promotes it, but it's not good for women. but society does promote it.
I want. And then we sit and go, all women think that way. Women are not actually as broken as society is showing them to be on the internet.
Not only society promote it, men promote it too. They say these things, but you see the OnlyFans girls, all the Instagram models, they have thousands and millions of followers. They are getting reinforced to do these things over and over again. So not only society, men promote it too. They just dislike it when their girl do it, then they don't like it.
They're not that bad. Because trust me, most women know that. In fact, women know that so intrinsically in their hearts. If you see a woman insult another woman, what does she call her? A whore. Slag. It's the first word out of her mouth. You just slut. It's the first thing women do, because women know that's how you insult a woman. So even the bad women who run around having arguments with other women, who are promiscuous themselves, use promiscuity as an insult. So most of the world actually understands this.
I'll just say something about a woman insulting other women. Like, it's not related to here, but I just want to add because it's so, I think, relatable to me. So I get negative comments or hate comments, but 99% of them are from men. And I see it, it's not only me. I see other like content creators, whoever is standing up for themselves, they get it from men. They get hate comment from men. Not all men. There are some men who are supportive and appreciative, but 99% of my hate comments come from men. Only 1% maybe or less come from women, and it hurts so much more when it comes from a woman.
Vocal minority. And these people always come to terms and learn that they were wrong as they were older. It's just unfortunate they have to learn the hardest possible way. I don't think there's any woman out there who's slept with 100 guys who's happy she's done it. It's sad. She got psyoped by society. She probably had no dad at home, no masculine role model. No one guided her. She got psyoped by society into thinking that having sex with men is somehow going to be empowering.
So true. It's like not empowering at all. It's like opposite of female empowerment. A female should not be like just sleeping around to feel empowered. She's losing her value. It's not helping her. Just sleeping around is just like no way in her best interest. And I feel so sad that women don't understand this. But a lot of it is society, men encouraging that kind of behavior and having no role model while growing up.
One day and looked in the mirror and she hates herself.
I
feel sad for her.
I was at a party once at my friend's house, and they always make fun of me for this, but
Yeah, he'll share a really good story.
it was a very learning curve for me.
Yep.
I'm sitting there, and all my friends are having fun, and I'm noticing that this girl's behavior is trying to impress the men that's around her.
Yeah.
And she starts trying to do drugs. And I looked at her and
And unfortunately, a lot of time a young girl does seek validation from men, and her self-esteem is tied with getting attention and validation from men. This is sad, but it is true. Like a lot of young girls, immature girls do that. And that's one reason why so many older men prefer younger women, because they are so easy to manipulate. They have poor self-esteem. When a woman get older, she becomes way more comfortable in her skin. Majority of women, they don't seek validation from a man's attention. They start becoming more secure with themselves and their own bodies.
And by the way, that's dangerous, right? Calling a girl sweetheart now is very dangerous.
Yeah.
And it never comes, like my father, I have to tell him to chill because he'll be like, sweetheart, honey. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I know. But if an older man is saying sweetheart or honey, it's just the tone also. But me being a woman, I do definitely prefer being called by my name. If you're not my partner or boyfriend, don't use those terms. It's just like, it's not appealing. And most women do feel like that.
I say that shit no more. And it's so heartbreaking because my father looks at them like their daughter.
I think if his father is saying it in a way, it's different. But if a younger guy is saying it, it's different. But even if an older man is saying it, it's also the tone and the way someone is saying it. But to be safer, just use their name.
So I go, sweetheart, you don't have to do that.
Yep.
And she lost her fucking mind on me. And she started freaking out. Everybody's like, yo, you can't say that, blah, 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 this and that, right? Okay. She freaks out, leaves, and she says something that broke my heart. The man was like, listen, you got to go. You're freaking out. You're causing a problem. They're not going to kick me out, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to kick me out.
Yeah.
But they're going to kick her out. And the thing she says, she goes, no, it's fine. I'll suck your dick. So right there, I realized that she was put in positions to realize that that's her way out.
Yeah. That's her value she can offer.
That's just so sad, but so reality.
The next day, I asked the gentleman, I go, hey, man, what happened to that girl? He goes, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't heard from her, and I'm trying to hear from her. I'm freaking out. So my heart drops. I go, hey, if that girl killed herself, I'm going to really, it's going to take me a lot to get out of that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to know that that weight was on me.
Of course.
And then I start going back. Should I have pulled her aside? Should I have done this and that? Finds out she put herself in rehab.
You see like what happened, and we think like when we are not related to someone, why should we get in the middle of it? But seeing something and like just questioning it, he just told her, you don't have to do that. Only such a small sentence changed her entire life. So we get opportunities every day to change other people's lives, but a lot of time we just choose to stay silent, and we shouldn't. So really good and inspiring story.
I don't see how your life can detriment from that. Maybe you could find some extreme scenario, but as a general rule to everybody, go gym, you're a weakling, go get strong.
Yes.
I think that's a good general point. Same thing
So
with...
first is to fix your temple.
Now Andrew Tate's excellent advice for men, but even women can take it and apply it.
How do I sit and try and explain the very nuanced and complicated subjects of life and masculinity to 16-year-olds who I've never met in a nation that might be completely different to mine geographically, politically, and socially? And I believe you do that by giving them actionables, giving them things you can do. So I sit here and I say, and when I preach the things I preach, I want people to understand why I've chosen them. I don't think anyone's life will get worse if they train hard and get stronger.
I love it. Love that he's saying, I believe in actionables, because actions count. If you're just thinking and planning and not doing anything, nothing will happen.
Actionable?
Yeah, maybe if I press A, actionable comes up. Because when someone tells me anything, my answer is actionable. So if they come along and they say, Andrew, the Matrix is attacking you. They're deciding they're going to print a new story saying you've done X, Y, Z, and you're going to be accused of X, Y, Z, da-da-da. I don't like, oh my God, that's terrible. Why would they do that? Da-da. Pointless. Completely actionable. What do we do about it?
This is so perfect. And I tell my clients this mindset too, which Andrew Tate has mentioned his mindset multiple times. And this mindset is geared for success, no matter where you are. So if anything bad happened to you, instead of thinking why this happened to me, why me, and why this, and why they did it, don't waste a second in doing it. Just understand this is reality. This is your current situation. This is what has happened. Now what you can do about it. So perfect advice here.
What can we do about it? If nothing can be done, then let's just put it in the this is going to happen bank, and let's consider it for future moves, and let's stop talking about it.
So good. Like if it's out of your control, if you do that, just leave that situation on the side. Don't do anything about it. Don't worry about it. Stay calm and patient. Solutions will unfold on their own. Instead of just talking and worrying about it, just put it on the side. Great advice.
If something can be done, what can be done? Who's going to do it? How long is it going to take? All I care about is actionable.
Yeah, there are things you can do. Just make a action plan, how you are going to do it and how are you going to take that action.
So when I talk to people at home and I have all these young guys, I get thousands of emails a day, thousands of DMs a day. People go to my website, cobratate.com, they message the live chat.
So no wonder Tate has so many boys looking up to him and following his advice, and he's giving great advice here. We should be taught these things in school because it is so important, but we are not. But it's great, and not only men, women can apply it too in their lives.
All day, every day looking for help. How do I sit and try and explain the very nuanced and complicated subjects of life and masculinity to 16-year-olds who I've never met in a nation that might be completely different to mine geographically, politically, and socially? And I believe you do that by giving them actionables, giving them things you can do. So I sit here and I say, and when I preach the things I preach, I want people to understand why I've chosen them. I don't think anyone's life will get worse if they train hard and get stronger.
So in summary, he said, work out and make as much money as you can. And these are very good advice because I think the first thing he says, start going to gym. And it is great. Once anyone start doing that, what will happen? It's mental discipline. They will develop routine. They will develop physical discipline. And discipline is one of the most important requirement for success. Besides discipline, it is persistence. Like not giving up. So I think discipline and persistence are two key ingredients required to succeed in life. So great advice. The first thing is like, don't even question, think, just start going to gym. And I really admire this thing about Andrew Tate is because he's so extremely disciplined. He is who he is because of his discipline. And obviously he seems like a extremely hardworking person too. So that adds to his success, but his discipline is admirable because very few people have discipline like him.
I don't know anything, but I know that if he gets stronger, he'll stand a better chance of doing it.
When someone start going to gym, their mental health start to improve, your energy start to improve, you want to start doing good things in your life. So it's just like an upward hill from there.
Because you also learn mental discipline by doing that.
And when a boy starts doing that, or when a young man starts doing this, he starts going to gym and starts working on making money, his whole life will improve. He'll have way more chances to have a girl that they want, because these are the two traits women find very attractive in a man: discipline and hard work and success. That's how their life will just improve. They'll get the girl they want. They will be in a position to lead that girl, because women do love a guy who can lead them. He should have characteristics of a leader. You will automatically lead a girl just because you're a guy. No, you have to have certain characteristics for that girl to look up to you as a leader. She needs to feel safe and secure, and she has to understand that you will make the right decisions for both of them. So if you are not even disciplined, if you are not successful, how will she be able to trust in you if your life is not together? How will she be able to put the reins in your hand of her life?
I took on accountability, right, for those other things that I was dealing with. Made me gain weight, depressed, couldn't. I had a problem saying no, and I had a problem walking away from people that I love.
Yep.
Handled that. Right now, there's this thing on my table. It's called marijuana. Okay. I'm addicted. I have an addictive personality, but I use it to my advantage.
There's no such thing as addictive personality. A lot of people use that term. Some certain things and certain drug have a potential to be addictive in certain people.
If I'm addicted to something and nobody else can tell, I've never had a problem with it because I've never had something that was bad for me.
So if you like something like marijuana, if a person likes it and they are doing it every day, marijuana has a potential to develop addiction and dependence, so they will get addicted to it.
Because everything that I've ever wanted was good for me. And that's good to carry me through those days that I don't want to do it, because I'm addicted to it. So I'm just like hammering it out. Marijuana for me is my break, because my brain just goes off.
Yep.
So at night I like to unwind and smoke a little bit.
He's saying that marijuana is an escape for him. It's a break, and that already shows me that it is a problem. So you can use these kind of substances in different ways. You can use it just recreationally when you are with friends, or maybe like once a week. But if someone is doing it just to get a break, just to relax on a daily basis, then it shows that, not always, but it is like red flag that it is possible that it will become a problem, because they won't be able to relax on their own. When they are stressed out, they will seek that substance. We should be able to soothe and relax and de-stress on our own without using a substance. When you give a substance that control, then there is a potential that you can develop a problem with that substance.
I'm scared that it took over my life where I can't even, like if I go one day without it, I have gone a few days without it because I can't even smoke here. And it doesn't affect me anymore that way. But my dad said this. He goes, you have a problem with moderation. Should I just give it up completely, marijuana completely, just go through the bitch of it, get rid of it? Or should I teach myself moderation with it?
My answer, I have a lot of experience in addiction. And if any of you is ever questioning that, is that substance or is that thing is becoming a problem, or am I addicted to this? It can be drugs, it can be social media, it can be gambling, anything like that. So just ask yourself these 4 questions. It's called Cage questionnaire. So C is for, has anyone ever told you to cut down? A is for, do you get annoyed when others tell you to cut down? G is for, do you feel guilt over your use. And E is, have you ever used it as an eye opener first thing in the morning? So if your answer is yes to these questions, most probably you have a problem with addiction to that substance.
And I'm just scared that one day when I'm like waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I have kids or like all this shit, I'll be like, I should have enjoyed my time where I was like, less responsibility.
Yep.
This is why I smoke now, because I know there's going to be a time, as soon as my mind goes there, I'm going to be able to walk away. And I've also, in the past few years, I'll give myself 60 to 90 days off to make sure I'm not addicted to it.
So that's a great thing he's doing. Whenever you think you have a problem with a substance, give yourself a detox of 60 to 90 days. It's always great because you'll slow down after it. So if you cannot do anything, must do this.
So I've already trained my body to like
So could you quit now instantly if you decided to?
100%. I've done it many times.
Okay.
So this is actually not a good question to ask someone who may be dealing with dependence on a drug or anything, because most people will answer yes to this question, but when they have to do it, they are unable to do so. So a better question is that recently, what was the longest time you didn't use it? So he said like 60 to 90 days, especially if it's 90 days, it's a good sign that he is able to stop it. Just by you thinking you can stop certain thing doesn't mean you can actually stop it.
You said it stops your brain working at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's a gift. Why would you want to turn your brain off? Think of all the thoughts you haven't had. Think of all the things you haven't done that you could have done. Why do you want to relax and chill so badly?
This is not a normal reaction. Most people do want to relax and chill. But Andrew Tate is a perfectionist and he's a hyper achiever. So that's why he thinks like this. And a lot of it may be from him being raised by a father who was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. So usually children of parents who are narcissistic, they feel that they need to prove themselves to them all the time, and that lead them to become perfectionists and overachievers when they are adults.
Why don't you want your brain working at optimum efficiency all the time? Why don't you read the dictionary? Learn another language. Why don't you start another business? Why do you want to chill? That's the first
You
thing
don't chill, dude?
Never. So that's the first thing you have.
I can see him never chilling and relaxing.
Thing you have to do is analyze.
Shit.
First thing you analyze is
You don't chill before bed?
never.
What do you do before bed?
I'm working to the second I fall asleep.
No shot.
No, I'm like one of those toddlers who falls asleep
So you can see like how perfectionist and overachiever he is.
halfway through. I don't think, oh, it's late, I better sleep. No, if I'm awake, I'm awake until I'm like, I really can't stay awake, and then I'll fall asleep. And
a cigar doesn't affect you that way.
No, I can smoke to the second I go to bed, and I'm just instantly out. I mean, a cigar. I don't smoke cigars. I actually
Now Andrew Tate is going to teach me something really big here that I didn't know.
actually smoke cigars because nicotine is good for your testosterone level, and I do not take steroids. That's why I smoke.
Nicotine's good for your testosterone?
Correct. That's why I smoke a lot of cigars.
So I never knew that. So let's Google it just to make sure he's just not bragging about something that doesn't exist. And I'm a doctor and I didn't know that because I only learned bad things about nicotine. Raises testosterone. Research on the impact of nicotine on testosterone has shown mixed results. And some case studies have found that nicotine can increase testosterone levels, while other studies have found a decrease in testosterone with nicotine use. And this article is published in Healthline. So it's a conflicting studies. So it may or may not increase your testosterone level. But that was interesting. I didn't know that. In my experience working as an addiction psychiatrist, nicotine is one of the strongest addiction out there. After, of course, heroin and crack, which are very strong, but nicotine is very strong too. It's very difficult to quit nicotine.
You know what's a fantastic motivator for men? Shame. I'm telling you now, it works. Shame. If I'm around my house and someone was getting fat and all of us were to go, you're a fat fuck, what are you eating that for?
So here he says that shame is a really good motivator for men. And it is true. Shame can be a motivator, but it's a negative motivator and it stems from fear and punishment. One great example of a positive motivator is giving yourself a reward or giving the person a reward when they do something good. A very easy way way to do it is when you want to bring change in the other person you love, you can reinforce their good behavior by acknowledging when they do something good. Like if you want your partner to lose weight, when they are eating healthy, when they make healthy choice in food, you acknowledge it and you appreciate and praise them. And if they are going to gym, you acknowledge it and you praise them. So that is called positive reinforcement, when you are reinforcing their positive behavior. So you can use negative motivators, but you can use positive motivators too, especially for addiction and like losing weight. Positive motivators are more effective than negative motivators, because fat people and people who are dealing with addiction, they already have so much guilt and self-loathing going on. If you add shame to it, it's just going to bring them even down. It's not my preferred type of motivation. I definitely prefer positive motivator and positive reinforcement.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
There's another top G somewhere else. Same body, same brain, same everything.
Yeah.
But he didn't have that wisdom, and wisdom was given to you. Proverbs in the Bible was a king, and he could have asked anything from God. And he goes, I just want wisdom.
How does God give wisdom to you?
How does he give wisdom to me? First, you got to seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall be open, right? So it's like, what are you asking for?
Extremely good point made by George. I really like it, and we all should imply it in our lives.
God, please make sure I have a great podcast and I kill it and I get views. Nah, I go, God, hey, let me stir up a conversation that wakes up somebody's heart. But for me to do that, I need to be prepared. Yeah. So prepare me to be a man that could talk against a man who's very diligent with his tongue. I wasn't prepared for this. God made me prepared for this.
A lot of time, like even I'll just go with YouTubers. So someone is making a YouTube video. Most of the time their intention is to get popular, to get a lot of views, but that's not a good intention. Good intention is how George mentioned, to inspire other people with their content, to bring change in someone's life. Those are good intentions to do anything. And I've seen, like, when someone has good, pure intentions compared to someone who has more superficial intentions, the person with pure intention always go on the top. Sometimes it takes them longer, but they end up doing better.
How many times should you forgive a man?
Well, that's a really good question, because we are sinners and we make endless mistakes.
And the prophet that you see as Jesus, do you know what he talks about forgiveness as?
Tell me.
Peter asks him, how many times should you forgive a man? And he says 7 times 77. And then he also describes the way judgment day comes. And he goes, you will be measured by the measurement that you gave others.
So this is amazing. And it just completely changed my perspective on forgiveness. Like, if you are not willing to forgive other people, how do we expect forgiveness when we are not in this life? So it was very overpowering, really inspiring, and something big I learned that will change the way I will live my life from now on. I hope I haven't missed anything. There were so many good points that were made, so I tried to cover most of them. In the end, my message for Andrew Tate is that he's doing great. In the next stage of his life, I do want to hear his message, having respect for women. I don't want to hear messages from him or statements from him that are purely misogynistic. So that is my wish for him. I don't know it will happen or not, but if he can do that, I think he can go really far, because that's something that is stopping him from going over the top. Misogyny is not going to help him if he wants to grow further in his career. And my message for George is that he has a really great mindset, and the thing that is very attractive about him is him being humble. So I wish he stayed this humble and success doesn't get to his head, because it happens quite frequently. I hope you find this video helpful and meaningful. Please let me know in the comment section, and I will see you next time.